holy shit. Like, the lighting, there's significant differences. Not just the audio, the lighting in this is significantly different.
There's no,
Plant 42 report.
I think on original, there's zombies, or at least one standing.
No, there's one in the bathroom.
Even on original? I thought there was another one.
No, I think the only one in this room is in the bathroom. But the lighting on this is different. The music, I think the music here is the same, but the music was remixed in Director's Cut. They obviously changed some of the lighting in Director's Cut. Because we're playing on the same settings. I didn't change any TV settings, and I don't think there's any in-game video settings you can change. Should also bring a small key so I can open that.
Yeah, it's darker.
It's definitely darker.
I don't think that really changes much, but...
Well, you're the one that believes that darkness makes things scarier.
Not in older games like these.
Nah.
Only in certain games is that effective.
Because I'm not going to stand there and let him bite my foot again.
Because, I mean, if it's a game where they're going for something standing in the darkness type of thing, or that you're supposed to miss something because it's in the dark, well, yeah, then, okay. But if the only thing that is scaring you is that it's dark, then most of those games don't really... As soon as I've done that on a couple of games, played where it's just, you know, the game's pretty dark, turned the brightness all the way up, and if there is anything that you would think would happen, so say you played the game again, and you know nothing's going to happen, all the fear is gone. The fear is only in the first part of the game because it's dark. It's that type of thing. And you turn the brightness up, you figure that out real quick. That there is actually nothing there, just the darkness makes you think something is there.
I guess. I mean, it doesn't... Darkness in games doesn't have that effect on me, because I actually think it's creepier to see what's coming.
I thought those were spider webs.
Those are spider webs. Well, they could be vines, too.
They look kind of like vines now.
It might be vines. Oh, yeah. They are. They're vines.
I thought they used to be... Maybe they would... Maybe not.
Well, this is where the plant's at, so it makes sense for them to be vines. I mean, this is also the first place you find spiders, so it makes sense for them to be webs, but... We'll say it's a combination of both. Get the control room key.
Yeah, I want to do a put together a side-by-side video, because I think that would be pretty interesting.
Of the music, or?
Of the music, yeah.
So do you want to know what the music fact that I've been holding on to is?
You didn't say anything about a music fact that you were holding on to.
Yeah, I told you I was holding on to a couple of different facts.
Oh, but you didn't say anything about music fact. But
yeah,
go ahead.
There's one of the facts that has to do with the music. So, they hired a composer to reorchestrate the music for the DualShock version because they thought that the music wasn't scary enough. And the guy they hired was deaf, and he was known as the Japanese Beethoven. And he composed the music for the DualShock version, supposedly deaf. Well, I think it was 3 years ago, it came about that it turns out he didn't compose the music for like 20 years or so. He had been ghostwriting, so he had somebody else ghostwrite and compose his music for him, and he paid them a commission to do it, and then turned in the stuff they were doing. And then it also turns out he's not deaf. But he got, he apparently wrote or made a composition for, to commemorate the atomic bombings in Japan. and so he was given like a honorary citizenship of Hiroshima. And after all this controversy about the fact that he paid somebody to ghostwrite his compositions for like 20 years, and the fact that he's not deaf, so he's not the Japanese Beethoven, they took away his citizenship. I did it again.
I wanted to point it out before you pushed it all the way down.
So that's a funny thing about the music. And what's even better is that the music that he composed so far, or at least so far from what we've listened to, I think this has scarier music.
Yeah.
So
this right now, I know this.
I think this is the same. Actually, it might be silent in this part.
No, it's got this like this type of thing when you're down in here, like something echoing off the walls is what it kind of sounds like. This is freakier. This sounds like some kind of like bad dream-esque music.
I guess.
It's like some kind of children's lullaby with a bad dream.
I can do that on the way up. Oh crap! I'm going to.
And that's really cool.
I'm gonna leave these here. What? Oh, that part of the song?
Yeah.
Well, I just thought it was interesting that they hired a guy who's supposed to be this great composer, and he was deaf and known as the Japanese Beethoven. And come to find out, he's not actually deaf. He does apparently have a hearing disability. You can't see the sharks. Like
it's so dark.
The lighting on this is so bad. Oh well.
I guess that would make that part a little bit more unnerving, but
well, you'd be being attacked and you wouldn't know what was attacking you.
Sure there's not a brightness setting for the game?
We can look. I mean, you know that always makes for good videos when you stop and check the settings in the middle of a recording.
I don't know if you can stop this one, can you? In the middle and see if there's...
No, it's in the menus. It'd be in the options menu if there was one. Yeah, there's no option menu in here.
Yeah, you gotta be at the start, so that's okay. I don't think that room's much darker, but...
No. Well...
It does make it look a little bit creepier. Like you're in dark basements. And...
It does, but now are you going to be able to see the floor when you're out here? Is it suddenly going to be brighter? Yeah. So basically, they took the brightness that this has and applied it to the water in the DualShock version.
Yeah, and that does let you see everything in the water.
So far, this is the superior version. I don't know why. So, I mean, they released the DualShock version, and with this, by the way, there's also a demo disc for Resident Evil 2. So we can check out the demo of Resident Evil 2 if you want.
Is that?
I don't know.
To that too.
Don't know if it has anything different, but they released it because they pushed the release of Resident Evil 2 back. Because remember, Resident Evil 2, they did Resident Evil 1.5 first.
Yeah, which we could actually... You can't really play... You have an unlimited ammo weapon.
If you want to find a version of it and you want to play through that, we can do that. I have no personal interest in Resident Evil 1.5.
Well, no, there's a version that I do have.
But
and you can just load up. There's like 7 or 8 different areas that they created, and the reason why. Basically, if you look at it, the reason why it was held back is it was too much like an actual police station the way it's laid out.
I think the reason, I believe the official explanation for why they switched up Resident Evil 1.5 and Resident Evil 2 is because Resident Evil 1.5 was not a drastic enough improvement over 1 to begin with. Secondly, they released the Resident Evil 2 demo because they had scrapped what was originally supposed to be Resident Evil 2 and effectively started over. So they weren't going to meet their original deadline. So as a to appease fans, because they were going to see they weren't going to get the game in enough time, they released a demo when they released the director's cut of Resident Evil. Oh, I need to pick these up.
Well, I think part of it,
Damn it.
if you look at both of them, and if we ever do a video, we can just run it there. But if you look at the differences of them, it didn't have any of the Spencer qualities, like the Link to Umbrella. Really, if you look at the models and stuff they did for 1.5, it would feel like an actual, like if you were to walk into a police station, like a real life police station, that's what they kind of modeled it off of. So it was pretty, there was a lot, it would have been very linear. You know, there wasn't going to be those really expansive puzzles like in this one, like in one where you had the mansion and you had all these different doors and stuff. That they didn't have that. So I think they wanted to make it, that was the biggest thing, was the police station. I think they had part of the ending of the game fleshed out with 1.5, and I think they still used a lot of that, but because they even have a little bit of it in 1.5 that you can look at. But the beginning, the whole police station part, I think they completely scrapped that because they were like, no, this is too, we need more of an Umbrella-esque feel to to what's going on. Like they have something to do with the police station too, and like you said, it wasn't as big as they wanted it to be. So I don't know. I think both would have been kind of interesting. They could have took 1.5 and then made it into like a separate thing, really, and used some of those features. Heck, they could have just made it, another little section of the police station if they wanted to. But it's kind of interesting. You can play those levels. You only have one. You have one gun, because of course it's in like a admin type testing mode is what you can do. So you can load up each level individually and just kind of walk through. And they have the zombies, so you can go and you can shoot the zombies. But of course, you can open certain doors and you can't really interact with much. So you're just kind of walking through what they had with the level design. They don't have any puzzles or any of that fleshed out in it. But you can shoot the zombies and they die in one hit type of thing. So I watched a couple videos I haven't actually walked through it myself, but I've watched a couple videos of people do it. And
If you have it, why haven't you done it?
oh, I just figured I'd wait till we could record it and compare it and say, wow, this is shittier than it would have been, or wow, this is.
I
Why
honestly
did they use some of this stuff?
I don't. Nothing that I've seen of 1.5 makes me think that it would have been a better game if they had released it. I think they made the right move.
They probably did. They could have used elements of it though. I don't know if they should have completely scrapped everything they did, because some of it, it looked pretty good. Or the design of things. But I think they did use some of the elements, some of those ideas for some of the smaller areas that you go into in Resident Evil 3. And I know they didn't use the same textures as it, but I think they did use a couple like rooms and stuff and just kind of retextured them. Not
really, because Resident Evil 3 reused the assets for the police station anyway. Reused the assets from Resident Evil 2.
Well, no, I mean not for the police station, but they took like a room and then they used some of its layouts in some fashion.